A doorway. To begin with, nothing more than a singular large double door. It sits idly, awaiting passage, penetration, and service. And as it waits, a noise can be heard. The crackle of sword on sword. The push and blood of combat. And then suddenly, gently, an opening appears in between the narrow. An opening of light, a flood of cones and rays. As this gentle motion pushes through the person beyond, making a path, a clearing, turning away, and changing the doorway into an open, the motion ends, and the figure caked in red begins walking towards the circular steeples of staircases. The thrones of those who used to be kings await their victor to release them from their prisons. And as the warrior slowly stumbles around, still intoxicated with the fumes and fever of his most recent victory, his wounds opened across his chest and arms, he shambles to the staircase, candles caking each side. 1, 2, and then 3 steps down. Awaiting him, a woman dressed in robes, her face masked. She silently stands. She's been expecting him. Her anticipation, however, does not show. She is too patient for that. And as he reaches what remains, the pile of dust begins to sparkle ever so faintly. It is drawn to the coiled sword on his back. As the woman watches with an intensity to the silence, the stare, both yearning and cool. He reaches back, picking up the handle of the weapon, unsheathing it from the leather strap on his back. A single note, an energy, a slither bounces between the ash pile and the red and black weapon. Like a song, music, beautiful, and awaiting. The ash pile seems to beckon thither. There is something strong and strange, something warm and calculated, yet chaotic and untamed. The bonfire awaits. And as the warrior reaches out, the sword begins to glow. First, just the tip. And as this glowing permits, he slowly, precisely, and carefully parts the sand with the edge of the blade, if it could be called that, sinking the center of the weapon into the pile of ash. An eruption begins. Flames cake the sides of the weapon. A lapping of fire as the ashes turn orange and red. A pure sense of heat. Something deeper than just a flame. It begins to bout, crackling, roaring, and a wave of force unleashes from inside of the ash pile, until finally, a flurry of color, everything from crimson to deep, deep orange, flutters here and there to and fro, and cinders begin sparkling in the air. The room changes from just a room, a housing of something great, to a home for the warrior. As the sword becomes too hot to grasp, he lets go, releasing his tight grip. The weapon sockets into place. It's home too. Finally. The yellowish jar at his side begins to vibrate. It yearns to be filled with the soupy liquid that sustains his life amidst the battlefield. As he reaches back, unholstering the jar, it clasps away from his belt. He leans, nearly toppling himself with emotion, slowly sitting down onto one knee. Placing forward the jar, as he reaches his knees, the world changes too. He's overcome with this sense, this feeling. He's venerated by the flames. The world shifts. Everything is back to what it was before. All his fears, his worries, everything sinks back to the way that it started. He's reborn piece by piece. And as his mind recoils, the heat of the fire, the brimming ash, the fragrance of the flame. It laps against the jar, and for an instant, it transforms. A sublimation as the ash turns directly into a fume. The fumes begin as a dust, but as they enter the jar, they turn the color of this weapon's sheath. And as it is filled, a liquid begins to form across its interior. The soldier sits down fully, replacing the jar on his belt. He sits there, the intensity of the bonfire keeping him warm. Flickers of his humanity resting gently at the edge of its embers. He has coaxed life from what was once dead, and in doing so, he has revived himself along the way. And as the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and once again, purpose is made clear. It's a slow thing. He feels himself giving way. His trepidations and hesitations are laid to rest, as at the edge of inspiration, he sits fondly. His body so sore and tense. The wounds seem to feel as if they close, the clothing ripped, furls back together, sewing itself shut. The blood re-quickens, and the shift between life and death slips ever closer back into life. The blood slips away. The heat encompasses everything that was missing. And in this cold, cold world, where nothing is on your side, there is a moment not just in time, but in space, in reality, where nothing is wrong, where the safety is guaranteed, where your thoughts, everything that you wish for, everything you desire, is right where it belongs. And you can do whatever you'd like, just for the moment. And as you rest, as he rests, you feel yourself resting with him.